Hello, podcast listener. This is your host with the most, and I'm gradually disappearing. What does that mean? Well, you'll find out in this episode of JJ Meets World as Tucker and I sit back, relax. We are going to cover some really good stuff today, but stay until the very end and then get hungry and tell us what you ate. And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. J.J. Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is. He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. J.J. has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled, and he's fun and then he twirls as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called JJ Meets World.
Tucker, at the time we're recording this, we are not with our moms because we're not at your lovely mother's house or the graveyard where my mother's buried.
Mm-hmm. My mom's not even in this country right now.
She's not in the country?
She's in Ireland at the moment.
In Ireland?
Yep. The motherland.
The mother Tucker land. And, oh, that's right. We talked about her potentially coming home with, like, finding herself like an Irishman.
Yeah, I guarantee that's not going to happen because I remember when her and I went to Ireland back in 2002 with my aunt, and we were joking about finding out Mary Jo a husband. And so while we were there, we would just like bring it up in conversation with locals as kind of a joke. And everyone universally in Ireland was like, Irishmen make bad husbands.
They're the worst.
Just don't. Just don't. They're just fucking worthless.
You might think Colin Farrell would be a great husband, but he won't.
No.
Last night on Saturday Night Live, it's become kind of a tradition on SNL that when they do the day before Mother's Day, they bring some cast members in. There's an episode from the mid-90s where they incorporated the mothers throughout the whole show, and it was fantastic. Like, it was so good. And I remember Chris Farley's mom beaming, and these are not, for the most case, performers, right? And so they did a cold open last night where it was Kenan Thompson and somebody else I don't remember because I don't care about, but Marcello Hernandez. Are you familiar with this cast member?
No.
Marcello Hernandez is really kind of like, he's a younger guy. He's a younger cast member, and he's kind of getting a lot of attention because he's doing these kind of crazy Latin characters like Domingo, like where it's like the women singing at like the wedding reception and it's all the bridesmaids. Have you seen these sketches?
No.
They're very popular this year. They're singing about like how fun the bachelorette party was and how like this woman essentially has fallen in love with a man named Domingo instead of her husband, and he plays Domingo. What I'm getting at here is he brought his mother on. She's a stone cold fox.
Okay.
She doesn't say a single thing. She looks at him a couple times because he makes a bong joke. But I fell in love with Marcello. I don't know if he's got a dad or like what the situation is there. But I think that I need to get into
His
a
mom's
room.
so hot. I was like, does he have a dad?
Well, you never know, right? You never know if the dad's in the picture or what the deal is.
You're already sizing up the competition. Like,
exactly.
How am I gonna play my cards right? So
I know that
Marcello. What's his last?
Marcello Hernandez.
Hernandez.
And it looks like Marcello is how you spell it.
Yeah.
He could use a father figure in his life, and I would gladly provide that to him if the dad is not currently in the picture.
Her name is Isabel Cancela.
Oh, so a different last name.
Who immigrated from Cuba.
She's very, like, I'm telling you, I watched the whole episode of SNL, but I kept going back to it. I, in fact, texted several people about her. Right?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Right?
You're not wrong.
So we've gotten to that point in mainstream media where I am eyeing up actors' mothers as they are silent.
What her marital status is.
And like you can tell she's incredibly uncomfortable being there, like being on national TV.
If you were on the market again, right? How much more famous do you think you would need to become to get on that like celebrity only dating app that like what's his face got busted on like for cheating on his wife or whatever,
stop.
Allegedly.
I know nothing about this.
Oh, okay.
I know nothing about this app, and I already think I'm at that threshold.
David Harbour
Oh,
got like
no.
allegedly. Let me just put
okay,
quotes.
okay.
I saw a headline.
I know that he and his wife are dunzos.
Yeah, and that apparently that one of the rumors is that she caught him cheating because he had a profile on. So it's a dating app. I'm blanking on the name of it.
Okay.
And you have to be invited to be on it. There's probably even a fee to be on it. And it's specifically for celebrities who want to date, right? So they're literally just, I want to date another celebrity. And so David Harbour's on it, but I don't know how, like, are people who are regionally famous or locally famous, like, what does it take before that person would get the offer? And I'm just wondering, I don't know if you're there yet, bud.
I definitely am.
Yeah, I don't know if you're there yet.
And I'll tell you why.
But but let's get you to a point.
My local celebrity is good. It's a good brand at this point.
Yeah.
It's not perfect.
Yeah,
I know Too Tall Tom Szymanski.
You get KFC perks.
I do. In fact, today I called a bakery and I was like, "Listen, I know that you close at 2, but I can't get there till 2:15. Can you hold on?" And they said yes.
Do you start with, "This is KFGO's JJ Gordon"?
You know how I subtly work it into that? Because they'll like, okay, I was renting a bus recently and they're like, all right, and what's your email address? And I was like, jj@kfgo.com.
That's fair.
Right? And then like, you'd be like, oh, like from JJ and Amy. And not only do I love the fact that they called the show JJ and Amy and not Amy and JJ, but I also love the fact that, like, I'm like, okay, so you know about what this program is. I don't know if you listen to it, but it's there. I got a really nice compliment from somebody the other day and they said, yeah, who was it? Oh, it was some young person that was talking to previous guest Steve Poitras. And he was talking about how he was telling her that he hosts a show called Trivia Time on KFGO and that she had tuned in a couple times, but really she's only tuning in for Amy and JJ. And I was like, Steve, I know that's a little cut to, your shin, but I appreciate that anyway.
Here's why it can't be JJ and Amy. That reads as Jammy.
Actually, you know what?
Jammy.
People have started calling us Jamie.
Jamie.
That's like our co-host name, Jamie, Oh, look, it's Jamie, everybody. Here to ruin a meeting.
You know what's funny is you can almost basically keep both of your first names in it, even though JJ is but you could, I think she would be honored to have all of her name in there.
Yeah.
You just have the J.
Yeah. But it's first, right?
Yeah.
And it's a hard J.
Yeah.
Jamie.
Yeah. And you don't know that the A is for Amy. I mean, that A could actually be part of just the sound of J.
It could, except for I hate when people spell JJ, Jay, Jay. In fact, it makes me so uncomfortably angry that I worry that I have some kind of rage that's been kept inside of me. And maybe at one point my parents took me to a hypnotist to get me to forget it. And someone is going to say like carbuncle.
Yeah.
And it's going to unleash something inside of me.
Yeah. I still pat myself on the back for my joke about how J and J each stand for JJ.
Yeah.
So that your real name is JJ Gordon. I still think that's a really good joke.
It's a good joke. When was the last time you saw the movie Office Space?
Oh, you know what? It's been a while, but I did recently just tune back into clips of it because it is timeless. And I was making references to it at work because my office is right outside the printer. Mm-hmm. So when people are upset at the printer, they get upset outside my office. And so I always say PC load letter. What the fuck does that mean? Dude, no one there knows it.
I know.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking?
Like,
where's the culture?
The most rented, do you remember when you couldn't walk into an office store without seeing Office Space merchandise? Okay. I just watched it for the first time. I've watched clips, but I just watched it for the first time in a long time because I interviewed Diedrich Bader like 2 years ago. And one of the things of course, I was like, tell me a little bit about Office Space. And he goes, oh, it's one of my favorites. And, like, hey, Peter, press exam on Channel 2 again. But I had completely forgotten that the whole crux of this entire movie is about hypnotism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had completely forgotten about that scene until I'm watching it and I was like, This isn't about a guy who just decides one day that he's like, he snaps. He is technically under some kind of a trance.
Yeah. A perpetual one.
Right?
That changes his life forever. It's a great fucking movie.
Hey, great segue. Let's talk about changing lives forever.
Yeah.
So, as you know, I did, like, I think one of the bravest things I've ever done, if you can call out things that you do for bravery, but was the episode where I took a picture of myself shirtless. And, I had started my weight loss journey and I was feeling good. Tucker, I'm wearing a size large t-shirt right now. It's a tall because I need the length to go down to my butt crack. I am down to 240 pounds.
Congratulations.
Which means that from my absolute heaviest, my heaviest in 2022 at 340, I have lost 100 pounds.
Congratulations.
And I have a real feeling that by the end of the summer, I'm going to be flirting with that like 220, 215. Like, I'm going to keep this train rolling.
I better start losing weight because I'm going to have an issue if I weigh more than you.
I think other people in my life have the same thing.
Let me just be honest with you. And like, hey, thanks for the motivation. That's awesome, though.
Phil Lund does that.
Of course he does.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I look at him and I was like, I need to be healthier than you are because I gave you shit for so long about your lifestyle that I can't be the one who's on the other side of this train.
It genuinely makes me happy to see you doing this because it is one of those things where when you have a friend who's a bigger person, you don't want to want them to be John Candied, right? You don't want you want them around, right? You want them around you. Now you're always someone though too who, I mean, even without the extra pounds, you've got a larger physique, a larger frame in general, right? You're the most nimble big guy I've ever seen.
Thank you very much.
So it'll be interesting to see. I wonder if it's going to feel like you're on the moon with less gravity at some point.
So, and I also want to throw this out there too, because everybody, like, I get the compliments out, like, hey, you look really good right now. Even today you said, like, look at you wearing your summer best, right?
Dudes don't get compliments like that very often.
They don't. And I let me forget because my Instagram algorithm is reading some weird stuff and sending me some odd stuff that I want to talk about.
Yeah, mine thinks I want to convert to Catholicism right now. And I was like, no, I was just interested in the conclave and the history. Yeah. I'm done now. You can stop trying to send me these things.
I just wanted to know if the Pope the Pope if he like deep dish pizza. Like if that was his thing. People used like a lot of like people in the weight loss thing, like back in the day, like when you're trying to lose weight, always did that. Like nothing tastes as good as thin feels, which is bullshit. That's not true at all.
No.
Watermelon Jolly Ranchers, fruit punch Jolly Ranchers, Chippers.
You ever had homemade tacos?
Oh my God, they're amazing. They're so good. How about Pillsbury Orange Danish rolls? All these things taste amazing.
Honey barbecue boneless buffalo wings with a large side of ranch.
Do you know what my thing ultimately was? This is what I also think this is the thing too that drives me up the wall. I hate it. Is people who go, oh, you look really good. Ozempic?
Oh,
and I'm like,
sure.
No. And they're like, oh, Wegovy then. And I was like, no shots. And then they look at you skeptically and they're like, listen, you've been a butterball for 40 years, okay? So let's not pretend like you're not riding that injection pony right now. Let's pretend like you don't have something flowing through your system.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah.
And not for lack of like, I thought about it. I gave it like some deep thought and I listened to a lot of stuff and I noticed that there was kind of there was a difference between the people like the weight loss specialists and some of the medical community on whether or not they like it or dislike it. And I think that there's plenty out there for people to find that are both, but it comes down to like what you think is right for you, because there are literally people out there who can't do it, where food is part of their lifestyle. It's part of their emotions. And by giving themselves this shot, they're able to overcome part of that. I think one of the big things for me is my lunch right now is my favorite meal of the day. The meal I have for lunch during the week. I take half a cucumber and I chop it up, not fine, like into big kind of cucumber chunks, leaving the skin on. I chop up like 3 radishes as well into like radish coins, and then Ken's Steakhouse, which is a dressing I think a lot of people sleep on. Ken's has figured it out, and it's got the word steakhouse in it, so you should like it. But they make a Caesar dressing that's olive oil based. It's not creamy based, so like there's no mayonnaise in it, right? Which is something that this kid appreciates. And and it's tangy. It's this tangy kind of thing. And so I put a little bit of that over the top, and then I add a couple cashews. And this simple salad is cool and crisp. It tastes delicious. It's got crunch to it. It has become my favorite thing to eat for lunch. And I think that helps me because my show is 11 to 2, so I normally don't get to eat lunch during the show.
What is that, like 5 calories, too? Like it's mostly fiber and water?
Yes, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
With some flavor?
And so I started eating that, and it filled me up, which is the thing that you really are looking for, right? But
I bet I just hydrated you, too.
So good. It's right. And for a guy...
It gave you fiber.
If I could cut Diet Coke out of my system, I could shed the pounds even faster. And you might be saying, well, there's no calories in Diet Coke. Yeah, but it's loaded with aspartame and other things that retard your ability to lose weight.
If I drink even like one soda in a day, the next day I can see it in my face. Like I could just tell how much more bloated I am from having all that caffeine and stuff and sugar in me. Yeah. My metabolism is to the point now in my age where it's like, yeah, you got to lay off the amount of the stuff you're putting in you, or at least balance it out with something else.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So I think my stomach shrunk. Because now
probably.
I can't eat nearly as much as I used to. And
well, and isn't it also, I always remember hearing that if you don't eat slowly, then you will eat faster than you realize you're full.
Yes.
So it takes a while for like your stomach to really signal to your brain, hey, no more.
Yes.
And so before you've done that, you're just shoved even more on top of it.
It's for the reason why they say, like, when you're at some place, like, let's say you go to a buffet restaurant or it's Thanksgiving, take less than you want. I mean, you can always go back for seconds, but take less. Don't take 3 pieces of turkey, take 1. Take half a scoop of mashed potatoes because you can always go back, but you might find yourself filling up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, on the other side of that train, if you want to get the absolute most out of your buffet experience, do not drink cold drinks before you go to your buffet.
Okay, that's going to contract your stomach. Interesting.
I'm also a cheap son of a bitch, right? And I want to get the most I can out of my buffet experiences. So, Instagram, which is a place that, like, I don't find myself very often because I have my Instagram and Facebook account connected. So if I post on Facebook, it automatically goes to Instagram.
Does it go to your Threads as well?
I don't have a Threads.
You probably technically do because you have a Facebook and Instagram, but maybe not. I don't know.
Here's the thing. It keeps trying to get me to set one up.
Okay.
And so, like, it's trying to trick me nonstop. So I have a problem where, excuse me, the advertising on Instagram, I don't think it's listening to me because I don't talk about this much, and I certainly am not Googling this, but it has firmly figured out the fact that I would like to get rid of my man breasts. And I had no less. Okay, hold on, I'm counting.
You're going to do some bench presses, some push-ups?
So I've been, like, now I feel like I need to research it and find out what I can do specifically about it because, you know, I could build up my pectoral muscles, right? Mm-hmm. But, like, is that going to do something? I mean, I will tell you this. This physique runs in my mom's side of the family. Now, my grandfather, who had a nice set of man breasts as well, and wasn't an overweight guy by any means, but just had, you know, like saggy kind of, you know, moobs. Mm-hmm. He wasn't overweight. It just was a part of his body. Then he had 4 daughters, so you wouldn't know. And all 4 of them.
And he breastfed them.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. I don't know. But all 4 of them ended up like having to do like had problems because their chests were so big, and so like I think breast reduction surgery was in the. You know,
I've had a few friends who've had that, and they just like, swear by it.
Yes.
They were like, "Oh my god, the pain has gone away."
Right.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to me that like most of the people who I talk to who've had a breast reduction surgery have said, "I wish I wouldn't have put this off as long as I did." Right. And so good for you.
Have you thought about getting a trainer? Just for a period of time, like just to get you started so that you've got someone who like writes you, like helps you come up with like a plan tailored to you, but not something that you have to see every week. Like, okay, I'm going to follow this plan.
I downloaded an app.
Okay.
Right. And so I put it in there. And so it generates for me what like the workout is supposed to be for me.
Cool.
And so I feel like I'm sort of getting that.
Yeah.
And, you know, like for me, getting a trainer, the thing I really considered about that was accountability. right?
Right.
And I have pushed myself to keep going to the gym, and I've started punishing myself when I don't make it, right? So like if I don't make it, like if I'm going to go before work, if I don't make it, I'm like, all right, well, guess what? You do not get to go to that movie tonight. You're staying home. You got to do something else. I keep thinking about wanting to get something for home too. I mean, we've got a rowing machine. We have got a treadmill. Jill's got some other stuff. She's got a thing that like shakes you.
Okay.
Not like the old one with the
I was going to
belt,
say like the belt.
but not with a belt, like where you stand on it and like it just kind of vibrates back and forth. She's got some weird stuff out there. She's got a belt that it's a big plastic belt, and then there's a weight on the end of it, like attached to a string, and you do like hula hoop moves, and this thing like moves around. And I said, hey, listen, I've seen this before. There's a Christopher Guest movie, his worst movie, called For Your Consideration, where one of the characters at the end is in an infomercial for like the hula belt, and like you do hula moves and lose weight while you're doing it. I'm like, that was a joke, and now they've made it. They've made it a reality.
Did you ever have an ab cruncher growing up?
I did not, but Jill did. And
Yeah.
I finally threw it away.
Did you?
Yeah. Did you?
We grew up with at my dad's house. Yeah, my stepmother had one. So there were periods of time where I would try it, and it's not really doing anything for you. No. Really, it's just a way to sell some cheap plastic and foam to people.
Yeah, I think that there are a lot. Like secretly, I always wanted a Bowflex machine. I always thought a Bowflex machine was the thing that held me back.
Yeah, they're selling you the idea.
Right.
You know, the idea is there, the potential is there. But like anytime I've signed up for a gym membership, it's with the best of intentions, and those intentions fall away real quick, and then I'm just out a bunch of money, which is a me problem, right? Like that's only I can be held accountable for that.
I am a member of the Planet Fitness Army, and the reason I chose
the
PFA, yeah, I love that. The reason I chose that is because of location. Right. So there's one reasonably close to where I work. There's also one on the other side of the river from where I live. So boom, boom, done. You know, no sweat. They also have like a big brand new one that's south of town. That's 2 stories tall. It's like the mothership of it. And I used to be a member of them back in the day because your dad was, and I used to go work out with your dad until I realized, no, thank you. I want to go this alone. And not any slight of your dad, but like,
hey, Bill, wipe the machine down.
you're right. Actually, it was more like this. He'd be like, let's do a plank. And then he'd plank for like 12 minutes. And after about 30 seconds, I'd be like, boof.
Yeah, he can't do that now.
No, he can't.
There's no way that's happening now.
Right. He was peak physical condition at that time. And so, you know, like I want to do cardio and I want to do that. We're also living in a golden age where like I bring my phone and pop my, earbuds in and I watch half the movie Dave with Kevin Kline where he's the president,
So are you just thinking a treadmill?
So I use the stair stepper, I use the elliptical, I use the treadmill, and then I use a lot of the weightlifting machines and stuff like that. I haven't gotten to the point of where I go to like they've got like the stretch out area where it teaches you all these stretches, and I haven't done that yet, even though it's like my app is pushing me to do that. And then I never thought I'd be someone who uses the aqua massage and like the massage chairs.
Yeah.
They are
hell yes.
Shit awesome.
Yeah. The older I get too, it's like I'm gonna need more of these things that make the pain go away. Yeah.
Sometimes it's not even the fact that it's the pain. Sometimes it's just kind of soothing to like have this
your muscles need that release.
Rest period.
They need that release.
Yeah.
They need to not be in a state of tension all the time. And there's so many muscles in your body that don't just automatically easily get, because they're everywhere, right? There's teeny tiny ones everywhere too. So yeah, no, that's my jam. I want to get one of those things too where you can decompress your spine, you hang upside down or whatever. That's something I could really, really utilize.
Yeah, because your dad had one of those for a while too. Right?
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved that thing.
Yeah?
Loved that thing.
I want to be a healthier version of myself. And this is something I kind of took to heart, which is someone told me years ago, he goes, you lose weight on the plate. And once you lose the weight, that's when you can start building up your body. But like, if you're hoping to build or to, only take in 2,000 calories, but also burn 3,000 calories on an elliptical, like that's not the way your body's supposed to move. Right? Calories fuel your body.
Yeah.
And there's good calories and there's bad calories.
Yeah.
You can put it in like via fat, or you can put it in for, with stuff that's nutrient.
Yeah.
And then I also realized like this doesn't mean that I have to become someone who only drinks like kale shakes.
No,
Like,
of course not.
There's this balance. It's all about a
Yeah.
balance, baby.
I think if you tried to be that person, you would just fail. You'd be miserable,
Right.
And that's gonna defeat you immediately. And like as far as we can tell, you only live once.
I also gave myself a budget of $40, and I said I can
Per
only
day?
No. Like to get ready to go to the gym. I was like $40 is all you can spend on
Oh,
a headband and new shorts and whatever other accessories I feel like I need. And like right now, like the thing I didn't end up going for was a sweatband, like a headband sweatband, and I kind of want it. I
I've
feel like,
never done that, but you know what? I should.
yeah, for me, that's where I sweat. Like
Yeah.
I don't have like if I get done with my workout, I don't have like big sweat stains under my underarms or anything.
I just
that.
feel like I
It's
would
my
look
forehead.
I would look like a bobber, though. You know,
Not if you got the right one.
just would.
I think if you got one that had the Karate Kid logo in the middle, I would like that.
I should get a bobber looking hat.
You should.
That'd be my new look
Yeah.
in the wintertime. Tucker's like, oh, this guy's head looks like it was a fishing bobber.
Yeah. Be like, oh, here he comes.
That's me.
Here's that guy.
Gotta stand out.
You'll become downtown famous, just like the other.
That is
downtown
something I
famous people.
never ever want to be known as. Is like if you are downtown famous anywhere, that doesn't mean like, oh yeah, everyone knows him as like someone who's really cool that everyone doesn't make fun of.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh.
Everyone's like, yeah. There have been some legends in this town who are still circulate amongst us.
Yeah.
From time to time.
Isn't that amazing? In fact, I was telling somebody who lives in Germany recently about a downtown famous person because we were talking about how it's cleanup week here, and they were telling me about how in Germany they don't have like cleanup week because they're like, we are good at everything we do over here. And so I was explaining this thing, and then I explained like, well, we have famous people who are just famous for being in town, and they're like, oh, do they have like an Instagram stuff? And I'm like, nope. They're just famous because everyone knows who they are. And I tried to explain it sort of like a Usual Suspects, and they're like, your police department just brings in people who they think may have committed a crime.
I'm starting to, yeah.
Oh God,
Starting to go that direction.
I should just be quiet right now. Do you remember after our one of our more recent times in the Middle East policing the world?
Oh yeah, not you and I's.
Not you and I, but
No.
like the United States. People started buying shirts that like had the Canadian flag on it, so that when they would travel internationally, they would claim to be Canadian and not from the U.S.
Luckily, from Fargo, we sound Canadian to a lot of people.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Close one.
syrup, of course. Let's pour it on the eggs.
Just got to be real polite, and they're like, "Oh, you're not an American."
Did you put anything weird on your eggs?
No,
Like
I mean, no, nothing weird. I mean, I love Over Easy. I'll put it on a piece of toast, or I'll break it over my hash browns.
Yeah.
And pepper. Oh, I love me
Love pepper.
some freshly cracked pepper. Why?
I'm just curious because I think eggs are one of those things where, there are people like, oh, I like mustard on my eggs, or I put ketchup on my eggs. I'll put some hot sauce on my eggs from
Done that
time to
before.
time, but like, I actually just like the taste of eggs.
If I scramble them, then I like adding something that's got like a tomatoey base to it. So sometimes it's ketchup,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's salsa or hot sauce. Yeah, but if it's just my favorite Over Easy, no, just put it on something.
kind of been craving avocado toast lately.
Where could you even get that in town?
I don't know, but like, and actually, to be honest, like they're gonna charge me $15.
Right.
It's easier for me to go get a nice big thick piece of sourdough,
Yeah.
toast it myself. There are things that I will gladly let a restaurant do, even though I know I could put frozen chicken nuggets in a deep fat or in my air fryer.
Mm-hmm.
I still would rather go get chicken wings done someplace else. But avocado toast is one of those things where I'm like, I just can't. Like, it's like people who go and order cereal at a restaurant.
Right.
And I was like, you're paying $8 for cereal, man.
That's why I never order spaghetti at
Yeah.
a restaurant.
Because it's so easy.
It's like I don't know. It's there's not going to be any difference between.
Actually, let me tell you something. Spaghetti Western in downtown
Oh,
Fargo.
I would try them.
Their spaghetti, and only because it's to a level that we never could do at home. Like their sauce, everything is so amazing. They also had this like tuna, like like this tuna carpaccio. Oh my god! Like,
Is it hard? Is it hard to get a seat there?
It is and it isn't. It is in the fact that like it only seats like 30 people at a time, which I love. It's fantastic. And then it's not because like on a regular weeknight, it's not as full, you know.
Sure.
I mean, I've walked in there at 5:30 and been able to get a table, no sweat.
Okay. So go on a weeknight. I haven't eaten there yet.
Yeah.
What's do they have like a good pesto dish?
Oh, dude,
That's my jam.
I'm telling you, you got to just try everything.
I'll put pesto on anything.
Would you?
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, not a dessert, but anything else. Oh hell yeah. I've had pizza where instead of a marinara, it's a pesto. Oh man, so good, so good.
That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information.
Well, we didn't end up getting pesto or spaghetti, but what we did eat was feeling.